All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Kyra with us. Kyra, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm awesome. You guys, Kyra has some awesome stuff to share with us. She is an author, and she has a wealth of information that she wants to share with you ladies. And for those of you that stick around to the end, you will have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift. So stick around and listen to what Miss Kyra wants to share with us today. Kyra, can you just start us off so we get to know a little bit more about you and tell us one motivational quote that really inspires you, something that really gets you going?
Yes. So for me, it's a scripture, and it's in Romans 8:28, and it talks about how God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And for me, that motivates me because it puts things into perspective for me. So that whatever happens, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever the situation is, I keep that in the forefront of my mind that, look, I love God. I'm called according to his purpose. So this is going to work out for me. So even if the situation itself isn't a good situation, in the end, it's going to work out for my good. So it could be a good experience or a growing experience, as I like to call it.
Oh, yes. And we all know about growing experiences, right?
Yes.
I'm going through my own growing and good experiences right now. And I often like to listen to people like yourself that have those words of encouragement to remind us that it may feel like it's a bad, quote unquote, bad situation that we're in, but it's not a bad situation. It's a part of life where you grow and you flourish into something beautiful. Can you tell us about a time when you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel and you had to overcome all these different obstacles and external circumstances, because we can all relate to that. But at the end of the day, you were able to push through and meet that goal and maybe even exceed the goal or the dream that you had already intended for yourself.
Definitely. It's funny that you said that it turns into something beautiful, because that's a part of the title of my latest book, which is Beauty for Ashes, which talks about the transformation of my life's darkest moments. So it's filled with it's filled with dark tunnels that they don't seem to have a light at the end. But the thing is, I've had them before coming to Christ as well as after. And so the book really talks about some of my childhood, teenage years, early adulthood, where things were just going wrong. So whether it was low self-esteem, which I suffered through for many, many years, it ended up in having suicidal thoughts. Thank God I'm still here. And that was even for a purpose, because now I'm able to relate to people who are in such a low state that they feel like, you know what, this is it. And that was a lot of what my tunnel was, just an ongoing period of time in my life where it felt like, this is not worth it. It's too much pain. It's too much hurt. I was in relationships back to back that were unhealthy, which added to my low self-esteem because I just, accepted what they did to me or how they treated me, because I didn't really value myself. And so after I began to just walk on this journey with Christ and understand who I was in him, then my perspective changed. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't have any more dark tunnels. That doesn't mean that there weren't any more moments in my life where it felt like, you know what, I don't see a way out. But the difference is, once I really submitted my life to Christ and decided that, you know what, whatever happens, I know that I'm in your hands, I had hope. So when situations came, it was still moments where I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I do know that something is going to work out. And my book talks about that. And even after writing my book, I've had moments like that. The one thing that pushed me into writing my book, because I was instructed to write a book maybe 4 years before I actually sat down to write it. And, just lay dormant, like many things that we kind of put on our to-do list for life. But it's just like, yeah, I'll get to it at some point. But last year, my 8-year-old son was suicidal.
Oh, wow.
And of course, that's not something that you ever expect, you ever anticipate. And I said, you know what, Lord? Okay, this is very dark. This is not something that any parent would want or even would fathom for a child that age. But I said, you know what? I know that you're going to do something great out of it. It's a very dark situation, but you're going to do something wonderful from it. And so that was my perspective. And as I began to think about all of the times that he already made something beautiful out of something that was very disastrous, I said, you know what? These are some of the things that I'm going to put in that book that I was supposed to write, because people need to see that just because you go through something, and there's a lot of some things that I penned in this book, including rape, including divorce, including, you know, just being enraged and having my siblings call the cops on me while pregnant, when you would think that it's like, oh yeah, you know, you're going to settle down and get yourself together. No, I was, you know, still out there. But having experienced those things, I need people, or not I need, but I would like to show people that no matter what you go through, you can still get through it. And for me, it was being just hooked together with Christ and him walking me through those situations. So back to the book, once I wrote those things down, now it's given me an opportunity not to just be free and not to just enjoy what God has done in my life, but to share with you and to share with the world what he's done. And that wouldn't have happened if my son didn't have the situation that he had. I wouldn't have had any, not that I didn't have a motivation to think about what God has done in my life, but for those 4 years, you know, he had already done those things, but I was just, you know, going on with my life. But in that moment, I was able to reflect, pin it down, and now share it with the world.
Yeah, and I think that is so awesome to share, particularly from the perspective of being a mother that has to watch their young child have suicidal thoughts, because we don't necessarily think about young children having suicidal thoughts. We think of maybe teenagers or grown adults that have a multitude of life experiences that push them into that direction. But when you're thinking about an 8-year-old, you're still almost looking at them as though they're a baby, you know? So, wow, I'm sure that was difficult to go through. But if someone can see that as an experience that can help them in their dark moments, then it's all for the best.
Yes.
What would you say to those people, though, that don't necessarily have a very strong support system? And it sounds like your support system may have even been a little fragile around that time, if you're telling us that your own siblings called the police on you. What would you say to those people that don't necessarily have a very strong support system to help them to achieve their goals and to believe in themselves so that they can achieve their dreams?
Well, I definitely, I don't want to make it out to seem like my family is against me or anything, but definitely there were moments and are still moments where I feel as though my support system isn't as strong as I would like it to be. And so I can definitely share with those who may not have a strong support system what they could do. And for me, it was to reach out to people. So to be proactive, I joined different groups where they are women who meet up together, will eat together, we'll study the Bible together, we'll go hang out together. And I've met people from different areas, you know, people that I've met online, because it's not just limited to the people that you see and walk by, but now in this technology age, you can meet people from all over. And so that's something that helped me out, being able to be proactive and reach out to make connections with people, utilize social media, utilize different platforms where they allow you to meet up with like-minded people. So I would definitely say being proactive and utilizing the advantages of the technology that we have.
Yes, and I think that in this day and age, it's so much easier to reach out to people that are across the world, across the state, across the nation. And it's within just a couple of seconds that you can many times reach out to these people. I know that you and I connected online. And if it wasn't for the online space, who knows if we would have ever met each other. And there are so many other people that I've connected with in other countries that there's no way I would have met these people if it was not for the online platform. But it took me deciding that I wanted to reach out and meet these people. Sometimes I think that we have a tendency to think that things should fall into our laps and that people should just walk by us just because we think that they should. When in all actuality, some of this takes a little bit of effort on our end to extend ourselves into relationships and build relationships with people. It's not everything that's going to be handed to us. So I strongly encourage people to meet people in meetup groups that they search for themselves. Don't expect somebody to tell you about one. Look for these opportunities in your local area. Search for online communities, and those of you that are lacking an online community, I'll be more than happy to have you in my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. We are all about women empowerment and living a purpose-driven life to help you get to where you need to be, especially when you don't have a strong support system. Can you, Kyra, tell us a little bit about what was a moment in your life where you felt like, I really don't feel like doing this? I know that I'm normally motivated and inspirational, but I really don't feel like being somebody's support system right now. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to have anything to do with this work. Has there ever been a time in your life where you felt really discouraged and down, where you just didn't want to be that same Kyra that people were used to seeing and being around?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I love to lead a very transparent, authentic life. So, as well as the book where I'm very transparent, I have a blog that I post to, and it's at KyraLene.com. And I'm very transparent there. So people will see, even with me releasing this book, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Which was quite the disappointment, because, you spend all this money, you spend all this time, you spend all of your heart just pouring it out, and you're just like, okay, it's done. Now, drum roll, let's see what happens. And it's just like, oh, that's not what I thought was going to happen. And so even after putting out a book, I had a moment where I was just like, you know what? I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. It doesn't seem worth it. But then I had to remind myself of the purpose behind my book. And the purpose was to help people. The purpose was to really be able to connect with people who have gone through similar things, or things that aren't directly related to what I've gone through, but we all have a story. Many of us don't tell them. And I don't mean just publicly on a platform, but many of us, we bury those things because they're not pleasant. But it's like we all have a story. And so that book's purpose was to reach people, to connect with people, and to show them that there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And so when I began to write it, I said, if it only reaches one person, it's going to be worth it.
Right.
But when, everything panned out, and it was like, it didn't reach just one person, but it wasn't what I was thinking, like, oh yes, it's just going to do wonderful and this and this and that. So when it didn't work out that way, I kind of forgot about what I said before, where it was like, look, I just want to be able to reach someone. But when I refocused on the purpose of my book, and that's why purpose is so important, because when you think about your why that you're doing things, it will truly motivate you, because you can do the same exact thing and your purpose behind it be completely different, and your attitude about it will change, your results will change, the way people receive it will change, because it's all grounded in that purpose, in the why. And so when I refocused on my purpose, my why for writing that, then I was motivated to keep going. And so
yeah,
I haven't stopped, talking about it, sharing with different people about it. And it's really opened up doors where, like you said, it's connected me with people all over the world. I don't know anyone in South Africa. Well, now I technically do because I'm connected to them. But prior to the book, I didn't know anyone in South Africa. But because I didn't give up when it was hard, and it was challenging at many points throughout the process. It wasn't just like smooth sailing, but I looked at it as learning experiences.
Right.
And because I didn't give up, now I'm connected with someone who just this month will be featuring my book and featuring my story, what God has really done in my life in South Africa. And I have no clue, how or anything behind the scenes, but because of my persistence in being obedient into what I was supposed to do, it opened up doors, not just for me, but now for other nations.
Yes, that's beautiful. And the thing about persistence is that it doesn't always feel good. And that's what separates the people from the people that make it and are successful from the people that are not quite as successful. And we have to remember that if it was easy, everybody would probably be an author. Everybody would be making millions of dollars a year. Everybody would be living the life of their dreams. But we all are not. But we all can. It just takes a certain mindset to do it. And if you don't have that certain mindset, and particularly a spirit of persistence, you're always going to stop when things get difficult.
Yeah.
You're going to say, oh, nope, forget that book idea. Nobody needs to be blessed by that. I don't even know what I was thinking. You're always going to stop yourself. So I love the fact that you kept going and now you're seeing the fruit of your labor.
Yes. And I just want to add, I actually lived a lifestyle of quitting things. If it wasn't quick, I was very, very driven to an extent. So I would get things done quick. It was like, oh, okay, to get this degree, I need to take 6 classes. I'm a full-time employee. I'm a full-time mom, but I'm going to take these 6 classes anyway to get this degree. Or whatever the case may be, I just was quick. What do I have to do to get it done? And I would do it. But if it took longer than what I anticipated, then I would stop. And I had a history of doing that. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago when I was like, you know what? I really feel like in life, I've been a sprinter. Quick to get it done, but that's only if the finish line is right in front of me. Yeah. And my prayer was that, I would become a marathon runner, because that's what you really need to be in life, because it's not, this quick thing. It's this ongoing process. So yes, you have these little mini triumphs along the way, but it's really a long haul. And so just 2 years ago is when I really buckled down and was like, you know what? When things get tough or when things take years, I'm going to stick with it. And so, yes, I was not always persistent at all. So I know that if I can do it, you guys can do it. I know
all about that. I am very much similar to that, where most of my life, where there was an assignment to be done or something to be done, I'm going to get on it, and it's going to get done pretty efficiently. And that's carried over even into adulthood. It's just recently that there are certain things that I want to occur that it's not something that is going to be best for me if it happens quickly. And so I've had to reshift my mind and say, it's okay to be patient and wait. Because when you're patient and you wait, you're going to get what you want. And it's probably going to be even better than what you initially anticipated it to be. So I completely relate to that. I completely relate to that whole idea of, the microwave minute. Put it in the microwave, it should be done. And especially when I feel like I have that sense of drive about it. Like you mentioned, you knew you had to take 6 classes. So even though you're busy with all these other things, you're going to make it happen. You're going to take your 6 classes so that it can happen faster, so I totally understand and relate to that. Talk about, real quickly before we end today, talk about how people can get in contact with you and what type of people that you're looking to collaborate with, because I know that this is going to reach many people out there that might want to be able to connect with you, form partnerships, and come up with projects that are going to be able to empower women all around the world.
Definitely. Well, you can reach me on social media. So Kyra _Lene as well as reaching out on my website, which is kyralene.com. And the types of people that I would like to collaborate with, or the types of people that I would like to influence or just be around, are people who just want more, who want more in life, who want more for themselves, who want more for their communities, who want more, and they are willing to do what it takes to get more. And so I don't mean to say like, oh, you need to have everything together if you want to work with me. But no, I definitely would like to have people who maybe don't have a clue what their next steps are, but have a desire to find out and have a desire to put forth the work to do that. So those are the type of people that I would love to work with. So yes.
Awesome. And for those of you that were searching for a pen, all of her contact information is going to be in the contact section in the description box. So please feel free to extend her contact information to your friends or family and contact her if this is something that you can see as a partnership. We are all about inspiring and encouraging women all around the world. And I know that for myself, I would love it to be able to connect with like-minded people as well. So if you're interested, my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group link is also in the description box. And this is not nutrition from a food consumption standpoint only. This is nutrition for our bodies, minds, and souls. So if you're looking to form a network of people that you can grow with, that are going to be able to help you and support you in achieving your dreams, that's what I'm all about. And any of you that also want to share your story, contact me, because I believe, as Kyra mentioned, that many of us have a story within that we would love to get out into the world. And it doesn't necessarily need to be in book form. It could be verbal. Go speak on stages, whatever it may be. But put your story out there into the world so that other people can feel like they're not alone and so that they can grow. That's extremely important, especially in this day of social media where we tend to publicize our highlights and our best moments, but don't necessarily talk about our down moments. So I would love it if someone can share this out there so that we can inspire each other to share our stories as well. Kyra, do you have any last words that you would like to share with us before we close?
The only thing that I would like to share is that you guys all have a purpose, no matter who is watching, no matter where you are. And when you find what that purpose is, your life will never be the same.
Thank you. And that is so true. And I hope that you guys digest that. Go back and listen to that one again, because that is extremely key. We all have our gifts and we all have a unique purpose that we need to serve others in this world. You guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to connecting with you in our next episode. I'll talk to you guys soon.